Captain Mitchell.
Recording in progress.
Captain Mitchell said she was coming, right?
Good.
Oh, that's all coming in. Hi, the person that called in from 262-886-3214, can I get your name?
Well, I'm social worker number C here with Mr. Verbruggen
Okay, we'll get
for
you.
a 4 o'clock meeting.
Okay, we'll get you in just a moment.
Thank you.
You can go and start with that one.
Is there someone waiting or someone waiting?
That's PD.
Heidi said she was coming, right?
Yeah, she said if she was going to be here, she'll be in Zoom, but I don't see her yet. And I can't go on my emails because otherwise all my emails will come up here.
I don't see any of that.
All right, does somebody else want to lead the meeting until Heidi gets here? We've got a longer agenda, so we should probably get started.
Alex, come on.
That's a lot of people.
Yep, I'll take care of it. Are you ready?
Yes.
Thanks, Alex.
All right, so let me just get my bearings here for a second. I will call this meeting to order. This is the City of Green Bay Sex Offender Residency Board on Wednesday, June 21st of 2023. Is there a motion to approve the agenda for today's meeting?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to the minutes of the May 17th, 2023 board meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
A second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. And we'll move on to the regular business and the appeal of Jonathan Verbruggen requesting to move to 1113 Crooks Street. And I believe there is a representative on the line. Is that correct? Or is Jonathan on the phone?
Are you talking to us over at RTI?
Yes.
So I'm a social worker in the institution here with Mr. Verbruggen. He's using my office.
Okay, so is it with you?
Yeah. Yeah, we're both here.
Okay. All right, so this is the first time you are appearing before the board, correct?
Yes, this is correct.
Okay. So what we'll do is first we're going to ask you to tell us what you were convicted of, give us a little background on what happened and how the police were notified, but please do not identify the victim by name or relationship. Go ahead.
All right. Well, this happened a little over 8 years ago. I was very addicted to all sorts of drugs. You know, I was going through a hard time in my life, and I was very addicted. And I met this young female. She was like 14 years old. And I got pills off her, and she was selling me pills. So she was selling me pills. And long story short, we ended up doing things that we shouldn't have done. I had sex with her a couple times. She was selling me drugs, and I never really, I knew she was underage, but I didn't know how much of underage she was, and her mom has drove me home before. There's been times where I've gotten driven home, but the reason why the county got involved is because she ended up getting pregnant. Now, when she got pregnant, she had a miscarriage. And when she had a miscarriage, the cops got involved. And then when the cops got involved, they went looking for me. They found me. I went to jail. I spent some time in jail. I ended up fighting the case because it was more drug related. I mean, when they found me, I had plenty of drugs in my system. And when I was in jail, I was fighting, and her mom even wrote a statement to the court saying that, hey, we don't want him on the registry. We don't even want him in prison for this case. You know what I mean? We're not going against him. We just think that he has a drug problem and he needs help, you know? So I got my bond lowered. I ended up getting out on the streets, and like 3 days later after I got out, I got sentenced. Now I got sentenced to 4 years of probation, 5 years staying imposed, and 3 years of ES time. So they wanted me to do 4 years of probation, but with no registry. I had no registry at that time. But then when I showed up at the probation office, they made me sign registry rules. So I was like, well, you know, what's going on? They said, well, they amended your court case because your charge wasn't lower enough. We cannot give somebody with a second degree, you know, no registry. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to have to abide by the program stuff that you guys want me to do, you know? And I said, well, is there any way around it? They said, well, when you get off of probation, if you don't catch another charge, you can petition it off, you know? But then I was going through a struggle. The girlfriend that I had at the time, but she's a year older than me. When I was out there, I was working. I was doing good. She ended up getting pregnant. We had a kid. I mean, I've known her my whole entire life. She's a year older than me. Then she ended up cheating on me, and I ended up going very bad into drugs. I mean, at the time, I had a 4-bedroom place. I had my own car. I had a $26 an hour job, forklifting, you know, auditing and taking orders. But when she did that, my whole life kind of fell apart, and I went back into drugs. But I was doing so good before that. And after that is when things started going bad with probation. I started, you know, dropping dirty for a bunch of drugs, and then I lowered the different types of drugs. I told my PO, I said, look, I said, I'm going to quit as much of the stuff as I can, you know. I said, but I just want you to know this is what happened to me. And I said, I'm going to quit it. I'm going to try to quit everything. And I quit everything except for smoking weed. And she told me, she said, well, look, you know, you fail again and we're going to revoke you. And then she said that she was going to revoke me. I pretty much got revocated like a couple months later after that, like it's over that. It was over 9 months past that, and then I've been sitting in prison since. I thought I was going to win my revocation hearing because I tried to go visit my PO, but they gave me whereabouts because they didn't know my whereabouts. So they revoked me. Now, when they revoked me, they gave me 5 years of incarceration. So I've been locked up for 5 years now, and I got a 5-0, which I tried to send a sentence modification to my original judge, who was Nancy Krieger, because they gave me 2 extra years of ES. When they amended my sentence, they were only supposed to amend it for the registry. They weren't supposed to amend it for the time. So they gave me 2 extra years of time for my ES time. I'm only supposed to have 3 years of ES. But on my transcripts, my original transcripts, not my amended transcripts, the judge, Nancy Krieger, said in that transcript that we think that this is more of a drug case than a pedophile case, than a sex case. This is more of a drug-related case. Although I did what I did, and I accept full responsibility for exactly what I did. I did what I did. I did drugs. I had sex with an underage girl, you know, but there's a lot of stuff that I've learned in the last 5 years of being incarcerated that has made me such a better person, that it is unbelievable, you know. Because at RCI over here, I don't know if you guys heard about the prison systems, but they are very, very populated with drugs, a lot of them. And I've been over 3 years sober, and I've got certificates, you know, I've done refresher schooling, I've worked a job in here, you know, I got so many good things going for me. But my probation officer, now that I'm getting out, wants me to go back to the same area. Now, that right there is going to be a big struggle for me because that's all I was used to is doing drugs, and I don't want to go back to that area, you know? I want to start over, I want a new start, I want clean friends, I want a good neighborhood, you know, I want to do what's right, I want to work a job, I want to take care of my kids, you know? Other than that, ain't too much to say. I got some certificates over here for the social worker to prove since we don't have a Zoom visit, but I got 2 AODA certificates. and I got my diploma, I got my refresher schooling, I got anger management certificate. And like I said too, is, that is a very good support system too in Green Bay too. With Lacey and Jeremy, I mean, they're all trying to make a good foundation for me, and that's really what I need, And for the last 4 years, I've been reading the Bible every single day, and working out. That's two things that keep me out of trouble. I don't do drugs, even though I get asked, do you want drugs every day? I do not take them, because that's the biggest thing that has affected my life. And I do not like people that do drugs, So all I'm asking for is a chance, if you want to read into the transcripts or even a proof, or do another meeting in the next 3 months and see how I'm doing, for me to show you, because, actions speak louder. I can only show you,
Great. Is it Captain or Lieutenant Allen?
Is it what? What did you say?
It's Lieutenant Allen. I'm here on Captain Buster's behalf. He was unable to attend today.
Wait, Lieutenant Allen, are you able to confirm his version of the story?
Yes, I can confirm. I am after reviewing the criminal complaint. It doesn't indicate anything about the drug aspect of it, but the sexual aspect of it has been confirmed through the criminal complaint.
Okay. Does anybody on the board have any additional questions about the crime?
None here.
No.
Okay. And do you have any employment set up once you get out?
Lacey is figuring that out for me, which I'm pretty sure she's got a job lined up for me right when I get out, which I'm trying to do right out the gate, go and work, So I'm pretty sure she's got it figured out. I think American Foods, I'm pretty sure.
We're going to talk about your treatment next in a little more detail, and you have the right to go into closed session or stay in open session. What would you prefer?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, we'll stay
Whatever.
in open session.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. So can you speak to, are you currently or previously been enrolled in treatment, and if you have been, talk about the treatment that you've gone through?
When I was out on the street, they had me going to program, but when I got up in here, they waited till like the end of my time, which COVID hit, so we kind of started a little late. But during that time, there was about 10 people that were supposed to be starting the group. And one day I was sitting at the back table doing my bubble sheet, and one of the guys that was supposed to be in the program sexually touched me. And ever since that day, knowing that he was going to be in that group, I told the lady, Dr. Buff here, who is the facilitator of SOT, I told her, I said, look, I want to take the program, but I don't want to be celled up with somebody in that group. She says, I'm willing to take the program, but I don't want to be celled up with somebody in that group, because knowing that somebody that was in that group had touched me before, I did not want to be in the cell with that person. And I told her that. She says, yeah, that's fine, we can make that happen. And then I get back to the unit and she sends me a blue slip saying that I refused group, which I never did. I never once refused group. I refused being in the cell with somebody that has done things to me in here.
So you've had no sex offender treatment, is that right?
Yeah, none so far. But I do plan on taking it right out the gate, get it done and over with. Whatever it takes.
Okay. Any other questions from the board about treatment?
None here.
No.
All right. Jonathan, is there anybody there to speak on your behalf, either in person or on the phone?
Yeah, we do have one person who wanted to speak. Come on up to the table.
I really don't have anybody, just the social worker. I mean, I've really been staying out of trouble here. I haven't been doing no wrong.
Somebody here.
I got somebody, looks like I got somebody in person there, so if you could please state your name.
My name is Jeremy Whiting.
Okay, go ahead.
John currently dates my kid's mother, who owns her own house over on Crook Street. So, you know, most times when inmates come home from incarceration, housing is obviously the key to their reentry into the community. Green Bay kind of has lack of programming, you know, for reentering society when it comes to inmates, especially with sex offender cases, trying to reenter the community and just trying to adapt to normal everyday life. It can be kind of hard. We have a foundation over on Crook Street with my kid's mom owning the house. I live upstairs in a duplex, she lives downstairs. So we have housing covered for him. But we also have other opportunities for him. There's plenty of work here in Green Bay. Everybody knows, you look around right now, there's now hiring signs from the east side to the west side. So getting them to reacquaint into the community, get back into, you know, being a positive citizen, starts with, you know, yourself first, and then, you know, trying to find a job. I have plenty of opportunities for them, whether it be over at American Foods, it could be at Burger King. I have 3 friends that have run temp agencies from everywhere from a head to a Seek. So the opportunity for him here to succeed is probably way more better than Oshkosh. Obviously, if he goes back there, he probably would be in a halfway house, be on the bracelet. And what do we have? High recidivism rate, you know, when inmates go put into halfway houses and get on the bracelet and put back into an area that kind of sets them up to fail instead of sets them up to succeed. We can probably give him a better foundation here in Green Bay so this man can try to put his life back together, put prison behind him. I've been in prison myself for a burglary when I was 16 years old. I haven't been back since. You know, you kind of figure it out as you go. As you grow, you know more, you're more intelligent, you're more knowledgeable to the situation. I think if he was here in Green Bay, I don't think he's a threat to the community. Just because of the foundation we have for him. And we're all here to support him, obviously. His girlfriend's right behind me, which is my kid's mother. So, I mean, it's a lot for me to be up here, you know, talking on for his behalf. You know, it's my kid's mom's boyfriend. But I believe we have what we need to succeed here in Green Bay, and I think if he has the opportunity to, I think he will. That's pretty much all I have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any questions from the board?
None here.
Okay. Is there anyone that would like to make a motion?
I'll move to approve address specific.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Could I have a motion and a second to approve the application address specific? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. So Jonathan, we will send you some documentation verifying that you're approved to move to Crook Street, and we can send that to the address you have listed there on Crook Street. Is that okay?
Yep, thank you very much.
Good luck to you, sir.
That's all we need. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
We're done?
We're
You're
done.
done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We will move on to the appeal of Jameson J.W. Kastner requesting to move to parcel number 21-317-8 on Deckner Avenue. And I believe Jameson is present.
Yes.
So Jameson, we've talked to you a few times here. I don't believe we need to really get into some of the details that we've spoken about before. Unless, is there somebody on the board that'd like to go over either what he was convicted for or treatment?
Not here.
No.
Okay. Jameson, I guess I'll just have you briefly talk about where you're looking to move, why you're looking to move there.
I'm looking to purchase a property there and build a house. I said before, I live with my dad currently. He actually lives about a block or two away from that location. But I'm looking to get out on my own. So I've got my offer for the house right here. And a plan of what I propose to build if you are interested in seeing it, but I doubt you are. But I brought it just in case. But that's my goal here. I think my offer closes on the 30th, so that's why I tried to get in here as quickly as I could to know whether or not I should move forward.
Okay, any questions from the board? for Mr.
Yeah,
Kastner?
do you need our approval for you to be able to build, or?
Well, if I intend to live there, yeah. That's what because I'm not gonna build the house to live in if I can't live there eventually. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to move in immediately. If I started building it, it'd probably be done at the end of the year, December-ish, maybe January.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think you're gonna have a problem getting approved by the board when the place
Okay.
is built. I don't.
But I don't wanna build it unless I'm gonna be able to live in it.
Well, there's no guarantees, but it's kind of weird for me to approve a land parcel, is that?
I mean, the parcel is similar to having an address. I mean, we have a specific location in the city. The last time the request was for kind of carte blanche access to the entire city. This time, the applicant is coming back with a specific location being requested. So it's a reasonable, from a procedural standpoint, we have a specific location to work with.
And in the meantime, you'll still live with Dad? Is it?
Yes, but you already approved me to live there.
Yeah. I guess with the help of the legal team, I would move to approve address specific.
I'd second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve Mr. Kastner to move to parcel number 21-317-8 on Deckner Avenue. Any other comments or questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. So, Mr. Kastner, we can send you that information via email to you, if that's okay?
Yeah, so like I said, I can still live where I'm currently living, even though that's I don't know how that works.
We don't expect you to camp out on your own.
Well, that's what I was hoping I didn't have to live in a tent on the property, but yeah, I just didn't know how that carried. Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay.
That's
All right, that's
Good luck.
all we need, thank you. All right, next up, we have the appeal of Raymond Ethan requesting to move to 421 Cherry Street. Is Raymond present?
Coming to the table. You said you're here.
It's a long way to come.
Hold on one second, sorry. Okay, all right. Sorry, my computer's just loading here. So this is the first time you are actually appearing in front of the board, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so what we'll do is we'll have you speak to what you were convicted of and how to get to the police's attention. And please do not identify the victim by name or relationship. So go ahead.
Yeah, back in, I think it was 1989 or 90, I'm not sure exactly. I was accused of molesting my step-grandson.
Would you please not use relationships to identify the victim?
Oh, okay. And I found out just a few months ago, he's now graduated from college, and him being a good Catholic, he went to the priest and confessed. He said this, he made it up. He recanted the whole story. He in turn told my late wife, this was about a year ago, the story, and I should have said, why don't you get a written statement and have it notarized? She had forgotten, and about 3 months after that happened, she passed away. So it's just my word against, he lives in Nevada, so I have no contact with him, obviously. And I had sex therapy for about 6 years in Phoenix, Arizona, where I resided. I just came to Green Bay in January. And I passed 5 polygraph tests. I don't know if it's a record or not.
Great. Did you plead guilty?
No, I did not. wanted to take it to trial, but my attorney at that time told me not to, just, have a plea.
So he did plead guilty.
Well, he said if you're ever convicted, he said you can spend 60 years in prison. It kind of scared me, so. And I didn't get arrested till I was like 65. Never been in trouble before.
Okay, Lieutenant Allen, are you able to confirm his version?
There was another victim involved, he did not mention that. I don't know if you want me to talk about relationships, but there was another related child that was involved that he did not talk about, and it happened in both Nevada and in Wisconsin. So if you could elaborate on that, I guess.
Mr. Eden, if you can speak to that.
It's hard not to say what it was, but it was the victim's sister. And she didn't want me to go to prison. Nothing I could do about that.
I can't really hear what you're saying, Mr. Eden, if you could repeat that.
Oh, yeah, she didn't want me to go to prison, but the victim did. And,
Who's she?
the victim's sister, she was older than him.
I guess I'm confused. So the conviction was for the interaction you had with one individual or two?
Just the two.
And you said one of them recanted their story, but did the
Yes.
other?
No, she married, and she already has 2 children from what I heard. And she married a sailor, and I think they're residing in Italy at the moment. I don't know if they're ever back home or not. And not having any contact, not permitted to have contact, I don't know.
So you're saying you never actually committed any crime?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
I did not. Nobody believed me, unfortunately. But I served my time. I spent 10 years in Oshkosh.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
This is Lieutenant Allen. I just wanted to confirm that according to the criminal complaint, he confessed to both violations and both victims in the criminal complaint. So.
I was also recently homeless, sleeping in my car for like 6 weeks. Because the place I was residing, they put the rent up so high, and I'm on Social Security, I just couldn't afford it, so I had to sleep in my car.
I'm not sure how that relates to confessing.
I don't understand that part.
So why did you confess to something that you didn't do?
I did not confess.
Well,
I didn't know at the time. This was about 20 years ago when it happened. The alleged incident happened. This victim has already gone through college and graduated. He's a grown man now. He was about 7 or 8 at the time. I can't remember exactly how old he was.
Lieutenant, he's saying he did not confess? Start with Lieutenant.
According to the criminal complaint, the defendant was interviewed, and he did confess to the sexual acts for both children, and described it that happening 50 to 60 times in Arizona, Wisconsin, and Nevada.
In fact, my attorney said that the courts tend to believe children more than they do adults. I mean, I don't know. I've never been in trouble before.
I'm still confused. So you did confess to it at one point?
Yes, the attorney at the time told me to do that. I don't know why. And me, like a fool, did confess. I don't know why.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
Oh, yeah.
Next, we'll talk about treatment. So you are able to go into closed session or open session to discuss your treatment. What would you prefer?
I already had treatment for 6 years in Arizona.
We're gonna talk about it though, and you can
Oh,
have,
okay.
you can choose to have these people leave while we talk about it, or you can stay, whatever you
Okay.
prefer. What do you prefer? Closed session or open?
Open.
Okay. All right, so if you can talk about the treatment that you did receive and what you learned from that, go ahead.
Well, honestly, I wouldn't do it again, not in a million years. That was the hardest part, to confess to something you didn't do. But I did. And even the gentleman who took care of me, he said, you should never have done that. I said, well, my attorney, he was the one that told me to do that. He didn't even realize at that time that I was extradited from Arizona to Green Bay. He wasn't aware of that. I mean, what does that tell you? He wasn't doing his job right, you know? It's court-appointed attorney it was.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
None here?
No.
Is there anyone there to speak on your behalf?
Is anybody here to speak on your behalf?
No, I'm alone. I have no family or friends here. I have one friend, but he lives out in Howard. He was the only one that come to visit me in the 10 years I was in Oshkosh.
Okay. Is there anybody that would like to make a motion to approve or deny? If there's not, I can go ahead and speak to, I sense no remorse. I can't believe that he's rehabilitated if he doesn't think he did anything.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
It's my turn to talk. So for me, I feel uncomfortable approving this application, and I'll make a motion to deny the request.
So I'll have to sleep in my car again. I don't have any friends, any relatives here at all.
I'll second that.
And
I have a motion and I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I believe that was 4-0, so I'm sorry, but your application has been denied.
so what happens next?
I can't help you there, sorry. If you have another location that you'd like to request to
No, I cannot afford anywhere else. They want like $1,200–1,500 a month. I don't have that kind of money. That's why I slept in my car. You know, I'll be 85 this year. I think it's pretty hard on somebody my age.
I'm sorry to go through that. We'll move on to the next agenda item. The number 4 is the
Do I leave now, sir?
Bradley Bruning requesting to move to 1759 Shawnee Avenue.
They're still there, huh?
Alex, in the interest of full disclosure, I know Mr. Bruning, he works with the agency that I work for, not directly with me.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Bruning, this is the first time you are appearing before the board, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll have you go over what you were convicted of, how did it come to the attention of the police, and let you go ahead.
I was convicted of second-degree sexual assault of a 13-year-old back in 2010. My PO got involved. I was on papers for arson back in 2007. And I sat 6 years, got out in 2016, and I committed 2 counts of child pornography in 2016. Didn't get charged until 2017, 18.
Were those like images that you found on?
Yes.
talk more about the sexual assault please, without identifying the victim?
I was 21 at the time, and I was drinking and met one of my friend's friend at Bay Park Square Mall, and one thing led to another. We had sexual intercourse.
She was 13, you said?
Yes.
Did you know she was 13?
No. Found out from my PO. She was 13.
And how did the police become involved?
My PO got the police involved
How did your PO find out?
because my friend called her parents. And that's how my PO got involved.
Okay. Lieutenant Allen, are you able to confirm?
That appears to be accurate.
Thank you. Okay. Any other questions about the offenses from the board?
None here, no.
Okay. So next we'll talk about your treatment. You can speak to your treatment either in open or closed session. What would you prefer?
Open.
All right, so if you can speak to your treatment and what you've learned from it.
I was in treatment at Red Granite Correctional Institution, but I was also working and going to school to get my HSCD. At the time I got my HSCD, I had to drop out. I was struggling with all three of my job, schooling, and treatment. I dropped out of treatment to get my HSCD. When I got out in 16, re-offended, I went to RCI and I was in treatment there towards the end of my time at RCI, and I failed my treatment there. And I'm on my PO just set me up for trying to get me back into treatment.
How do you fail SOP?
Where my roommate lied saying that I licked his ear, and I never did.
Okay.
So my PO, or my facilitator, Dr. Bus, kicked me out of group.
Okay, do you know where your agent is sending you for treatment?
Over on University?
I don't know, okay.
No.
I've heard of it, but.
And what have you learned from treatment?
That I did what I did was wrong, and I'm trying to change my wrongs to rehabilitate into the community. I've had plenty of jobs in the past, so yeah, I'm helping out my the landlord that I'm living at right now, which I'm helping around the house. The roommate is going to surgery next month for his hip, so he's struggling moving around. She just got out of the hospital a couple weeks ago because I found her outside, and I woke up Ken, which is the roommate, and he called 911, and she was in the hospital in ICU for a couple weeks. So I've been helping out there for the last month and a half now, helping them out.
When were you released from prison?
I was released from WRC, Wisconsin Resource Center,
When?
September 6th of last year.
And do you have employment?
No, I do not. I got fired Saturday because I was helping out Joe move the appliances upstairs. And I was working at Beam and Board, so I'm looking for a job again. I'm trying to get my job back at American Foods right now.
And you have two names listed on your application for who you'd be moving in with. What are your relationships with them?
Ken is the roommate. He pays rent there. and that's a friend of mine, and Joe is the landlord.
This is right next door to the TLP.
Yes.
Just wander over there one day or what?
I know, I met Ken on the bus, and we were talking. I found out that he is related to me through marriage. So, and I got currently my temps 7 weeks ago, as of Friday. So she's teaching me how to drive on the road. So that's good for me.
Any other questions from the board?
None here. No.
Is there anyone to speak on your behalf, Bradley?
No, they couldn't make it today.
If there are no other questions, would anybody like to make a motion?
Move to approve address specific.
I'll second.
So I have a motion and a second to approve address specific. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? So that carries. Bradley, you are approved to move that location. If you decide to move anywhere else in the city, please check back with our legal department to verify if you need to come back and see us. And would you like us to send your approval letter to your
Probation
Shawano
officer.
Avenue address or email?
My Shawano Avenue address, please.
Okay, we will do that.
All right, thank you.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you. Okay, next up we have the appeal of Paul Debo requesting to move to 1576 Kennedy Drive. Is Paul present?
Nope.
If Paul is not present, I'll make a motion to deny the request.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to deny the request. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So that motion carries. The motion or the request was denied. Next up, I have the appeal of Chester Flowers requesting to move to 860 Elmore Street. Is Chester here?
Yes.
Coming up.
Yes, I'd like to disclose, I know Chester, I don't know him personally, but I know of him. But I feel I can be impartial.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Flowers, you had been before the board previously, it looks like back in 2019. However, nobody that's currently present on the board has had a discussion with you. So what I'd like to have you do is go over the offense that was committed and how the police were made aware of it. Go ahead.
Back in, I believe it was 2000, I was arrested in 2001 for second-degree sexual assault of a child. I had sexual intercourse with a teenager that had ran away from home.
And how did the police become involved?
The person, she lived, I believe, up north in Penvine, and when she got back home with the assistance of some other people, she went to, I believe it was a nurse or someone at her school and reported it. And officials in Marinetta, Penvine, reported it to the Green Bay Police Department. And I was arrested and charged with the crime.
Okay. Lieutenant Allen, are you able to confirm those details?
I can confirm that.
Okay. Any other questions from the board about the offense?
None here.
None here.
Okay. So next, we'd like to talk a little bit about treatment. You're able to do this in open or closed session. What would you prefer?
Open.
Okay. All right, so I'd like you to kind of talk about your treatment that you've received and what you've learned from it. Go ahead.
The treatment I've had, I was in anger management, the deniers program. I was in treatment for other treatments at Oshkosh. I was civically committed, and first I went to WRC. After WRC, I was transferred to San Res Secure Treatment Center, where I participated in the introductory phase of sex offenses. I went through phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and eventually supervised release. There were other programs that I participated at Sandridge.
No, they're all listed here with consent.
Pardon? You have it?
Yep. Lots of different certificates.
I learned a lot about risk factors. I also learned that a lot of things that I did in my life, even my offense, was because I had a bad attitude. I left Chicago because I was trying to get away from the things that was going on in Chicago, and I came here. Green Bay was wonderful to me. I got a job my first day here at Tufco. But I learned while I was at San Res that even though I left Chicago to get away from the things that was going on in Chicago, I brought it all here with me. And it grew, and I took a lot of things out on people, and I didn't tell you that I was arrested for substantial battery. I think that's what it was, prior to being arrested for the sexual assault, and I was convicted of that as well.
Good. Any questions from the board about treatment?
Not here.
None here.
And Mr. Flowers, are you currently employed?
Yes, I work for Excel Cleaning Services. I've been working there since when I was released from supervised release, and while on supervised release, I worked for Manna for Life Ministry from 2016 or 2017 until I was affected with COVID and I lost my job. And as soon as I was released from quarantine, I got a job at Excel, and I've been working there ever since in 2020.
Any questions from the board?
None here.
Do you have any transportation?
Yes, sir. I drive a 2012 Ford Escort.
Thank you.
Okay, hearing no other questions, is there anyone that would like to make a motion?
Move to approve, address specific.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second to approve address specific. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Said motion carries. So Mr. Flowers, you are approved to reside at 60 Elmore Street. If you decide to move anywhere else in the city, please check with our legal department to verify if you need to come back and see us. And would you like us to send a hard copy letter to your current address then?
Please.
Okay. Alrighty, that's all we need from you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Best of luck, sir.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the appeal of Richard Dombrowski requesting to move to 1932 Deckner Avenue. Is Richard present?
Yes. Alex, full disclosure, Ricky is a customer of mine. I helped him get a job at American Foods, but I feel I could be impartial.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Richard, looks like you were before the board in 2013, but same situation. I don't believe anybody on the current board was there for that appeal, so what I'll have you do is speak to your offenses and how it became known to the police, and avoid identifying losing my brain. Identifying the victim by relationship. So go ahead.
I have a first degree sexual assault. I grabbed the victim's hand and held it on my piece. And I have child pornography, which I did over the internet. Both of them became involved, known by their mom, by the victim's moms.
Okay, so the victim's mom went to the police?
Yep, on both of them.
Okay. And Lieutenant Allen, are you able to confirm?
Yes, I can confirm.
Thank you. Any questions from the board on the offense?
None here.
None here.
So we would like to talk to you a little bit about your treatment, and you're able to do that in open session or closed session, which would you prefer?
It don't matter.
Okay, we'll stay in open session then. So please give us some background on the treatment that you received and what you learned.
Well, I did anger management, I did CGIP.
What is that, Ricky?
Huh?
What is that?
CGIP is Thinking for a Change. And I did SO2, sex offender treatment too.
What did you learn?
Well, I learned that for anger management, I learned pretty much to stop and think before I do things, because I had an impulse habit when I was younger, a really bad one. And with the SO2 is I learned the same thing, is because I do things on impulse, and I did it because I wanted to see how it felt. And with Thinking for a Change, I learned all my risky behavior, like all my risky behaviors tend to get me into trouble. Learned how to cope with it and how to work ways around not getting in trouble.
Did you serve any time in prison?
Yes, I've been in and out of prison since I was 17. I just got out of prison 2 months ago.
Okay. And do you have any employment?
Yes, I work at American Foods. I got the job a week after I got out of prison.
Any questions from the board about treatment?
None here.
None here.
Okay. And any other questions in general from the board?
I just have one on the appeal form under offense date. You put was 17, or second one was 16.
I didn't know the exact dates, so I just put how old I was when the offense happened.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And just to confirm, these offenses occurred in 2011, 12, or 13?
Yeah, around there.
Any questions from the board?
None.
I'll try to ask this question and I'll, again, remind you not to identify the victim. But with the interaction you had with the 6-year-old, was that a crime of opportunity or did you knew this person?
I knew this person.
Sorry?
I knew this person.
Okay. Does anybody like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to accept address specific.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
So there's a motion and a second to approve address specific. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion carries. So Mr. Dombrowski, you are approved to reside at 1932 Deckner Avenue, apartment 3. If you decide to move anywhere else in the city, please check back with our legal department to verify if you need to come back and see us. And would you like us to send your approval letter to the Shawano Avenue address?
Yes, please.
And we will do that. So thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Next up, we have the appeal of Michael Jans requesting to move to 1687 Deckner Avenue. Is Michael present?
Yes, I'm here.
Full disclosure, Alex, Michael is also a customer of mine. I help him get a job at Sound Partners.
You've got a lot of customers.
I know, sir.
All right, Michael, I believe this is the first time you are coming before this board, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'll have you do is go over the offense, what happened, and how the police became aware of it. Go ahead.
I was convicted of facilitating sex crime using a computer. I was on Grindr app, and they have the ages posted right on the site, of people that are on there. And this person said they were 18, and then later on when we were going through talking and that, they said they were 16. Then they said they were going to be 16 in months or so. How the police got involved was they set up a site and used that site for catch me, I guess. When I agreed to go meet the 15-year-old, then we met at supposed to meet at BP on Broadway and De Pere, but I parked in a Shopko parking lot, and they told me to let me know when I was there, and so when I got there, I messaged him and said I was there, and then the police surrounded the car, and I was put in custody and arrested.
Okay, and Lieutenant Allen, are you able to confirm that's what happened?
Yes, I can confirm that.
Thank you. And then you spent 5 years in prison?
Yes. And 3 years paper.
Any questions from the board about the offense?
None here.
None here.
Okay. So next we'll talk about treatment, and you're able to speak to this either in open session or closed session. What would you prefer?
You can do it in open session.
Okay. So then I'll have you talk about any treatment that you've gone through and what you learned from it. Go ahead.
I went through the SO2, and I learned about triggers and
up here.
Huh?
So you have it all written up here.
Oh, yeah. And, I learned a lot. I did
Mike, what are the things that put you at risk for reoffending?
risky situations. Using another computer, triggers.
Substance?
So do you have any restrictions on using like apps in the future?
No, I'm all done with that. I also was on meth when that happened, and I'm not doing that anymore either. That was a big part in that. That meth messed up with my mind, and so that was a big factor in me contacting or going with a 15-year-old, because I would never think of ever doing something like that ever if I wouldn't have been on it. That'd been the last thing I'd ever do. I feel sick about it. I didn't like it when I heard other people did it, you know what I mean? And then now here I am in the same situation. And it just really is upsetting. And sometimes I cry at night for what I do. I have a good support system. My sister, I can call her and talk to her whenever I'm feeling down or upset or anything like that. And she says it's good for you to have those feelings, because them feelings are making you realize that there's a problem here and you're getting over it, and it's helping you heal. So I do have a job. I'm working, and I just work and sleep because I work third shift, and it's kind of hard to, get up at a certain time, like stay up so late and then go to sleep and then get up. It's a lot of tiring, so. I work at night, I sleep during the day, and then I do my shopping, like around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And then I gotta be ready for work by 8:30.
Have you been through any drug treatment?
Not yet, but I've been doing these skill things with my PO on that. I don't know, do I do that?
No, we've got most everything here.
Okay. But I do have aftercare treatment for the SO2. I'm enrolled in that with the Hanger, through Hanger. And I'm going to be starting that soon.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
None here.
None here.
And do you have anyone to speak on your behalf?
I do not.
Any other questions from the board? And if not, anybody care to make a motion?
Motion to approve at a specific.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second to approve adder specific. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion carries. So, Michael, you are approved to reside at 1687 Beckner Avenue. And if you decide to move anywhere else in the city, please check back with our legal department to verify if you need to come back and see us And would you like us to send you a hard copy letter to your Shawano Avenue?
Yeah,
address?
because that's the only address I have right now.
Okay, we will do that. And that is all we need from you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Best of luck to you, sir.
appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Bye, Brad.
Next up, we have informational, next meeting will be on July 19th at 4 o'clock. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
I'll second.
A motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that wasn't so bad.
I thought I was getting an hour off on Friday. Now I don't get
Recording
that.
stopped.
Thought I was gonna be home for supper.